Hey everybody, if you are new here, my name is Daniela, and today we will talk about hamster cages. So the most common mistake I see with hamster owners is the size of their hamster's enclosure, and one of the most common questions about hamsters. Well, there are so many reasons on how to tell hamster cages apart and which ones are actually safe. The cage has to have right size, right materials, and even sturdy with a good quality. There is still so much false information out there still today that I do want you to know about in this video. Number 1. Signs of a hamster cage too small. Hamsters need large cages, and people tend to sell small ones just to convince their customers because of the convenience on size and details. It is also beneficial to the store because the smaller the cage, the more they can fit into aisles. This also helps with earning money and not running out of hamster cages too often. But hamsters will not accept these cages because, like I said in the first video, hamsters run up to 6 miles in the wild every day, and this obviously doesn't mean you have to go to the store and buy a cage 6 miles long, but it does help you understand that you should give your hamster something around twice the size of 300 square inches of floor space. So what happens if you give your hamster a small cage? The answer is obvious. They will try to escape, and when they're trying to escape, they will make strange activities and interactions that you won't enjoy and nor the hamster will. Some examples of strange activities and interactions include bar biting, monkey barring, and skidding and sliding across the sides of the cage if your hamster cage is aquarium based. So make sure you take care of these signs immediately, because I had an incident once with a small cage, and Coconut actually escaped once because she kept on monkey barring, and we were aware of that, but we thought it was a good thing, and then we further researched that it was a bad thing. So we realized that Coconut was in the basement for 4 straight days, and once we went out to the basement at 11 p.m. and we found her randomly walking around in the middle of the hallway, so we finally found her. Number 2, cage sizes. Many think that the bare minimum size hamster cage is 450 square inches of floor space. Unfortunately, that is wrong. Others think that the best size cage for hamsters is 1,000 square inches of floor space, but it is really hard to find hamster cages that big, and they are normally very expensive. I have been trying out many different cages for my hamster Coconut, and if you didn't watch my first video, Coconut is my Syrian hamster. Syrian hamsters by far are the biggest hamsters in the world, and it is important to provide them with the biggest of everything, including the cage. So I have been testing out Coconut for 3 different cages, and it seems to me that Syrian hamsters can live in anything over 700 square inches of floor space, and as of right now, Coconut is living in a cage 789 square inches of floor space. So in conclusion, my recommendation to cage sizes is over 700 square inches of floor space, and to be safer, you can go somewhere over 850 square inches of floor space. And if you can't get anything that big, or even the bare minimum, then a hamster might not be the right pet for you. Number 3, good cages versus bad cages. At this point, you're probably thinking, so with all this information, which hamster cages are acceptable? There are so many choices of hamster brands out there, but only about half of them are suitable for hamsters. I had many experiences for cages, but not only cages, also accessories. Some good brands include Niteangel, Rubor, and Aivituvin. So I have had bad experiences with some bad hamster cages, including brands. The first one is All Living Things, Katie, and Full Cheeks. So this is a hamster cage from Full Cheeks, and it is the previous one that I had for coconut, and it is actually a very bad experience that I had. And for the hamster, it only been able to hold coconut for only about 2 weeks, because then coconut started barb biting, and if you could see, there's some bite marks in the front of the cage and on the back over here too. And it is actually a really bad thing your hamster can do that, because it can end up in many health issues. In total, this is 382 square inches of floor space, and it is not even close to the bare minimum that people think it is. So definitely do not get one of these. Out of all brands, Niteangel is the best, not only for cages, but really nice accessories as well. I will provide some links in the descriptions below that will take you to websites of good hamster cages for hamsters. Number 4, building a hamster enclosure on budget. Like I said earlier, it is hard to find a large cage, and they are normally very expensive. So the best way to handle it is to build your own. I actually built Coconut her own cage, and it was really fun, and the best part, very simple. Building your own enclosure can help you and your hamster because it won't be too expensive, and you can give it to your hamster in less than 2 weeks. My cage only took about less than a week to finish up, and it was really fun. So here are the materials I used. I used wood blocks. You could also use wood pieces you can find around the house, or you can go to lumber stores to find these wood pieces. And then I used this Tight Bond Premium wood glue to glue them together when forming the cage. So the first thing I did was measured out all the wood pieces. I basically flattened them onto the ground and wanted to find out how big I wanted the cage to be, and I laid out all the pieces, and when I figured out I wanted the size to be what the size I wanted to be, and I then glued down all of the pieces with this wood glue, and I did the same to the sides of the cage. Then I used a white cabinet piece to glue to the cage. That was the back side of the hamster cage. And after all of that, I measured the front and then attached an acrylic glass piece right onto it. After all of that, I got a big wood piece that was the lid for the cage. I drilled some holes into the top for ventilation to flow in for the hamster, and I attached metal hinges with screws to the lid and then onto the back side of my hamster cage. Number 5. Why do hamsters need large cages? So why do hamsters need large cages? There are so many reasons, and I'll give you as much as I know. The first reason is what I have been saying in the first video and continuously throughout this video. Hamsters run up to 6 miles a night in the wild every single day, and the best thing to do is to provide a big enough cage for them. The second reasons are you obviously want enough room for a lot of enrichment, such as a big enough wheel, toys, tree sticks, etc. You want enough room for bedding and at least 8 inches apart from each toy. And you basically want to make the cage semi-crowded. Having a large cage can make the hamster feel safer and more comfortable. And those were my 5 reasons about hamster cages. Thanks for watching, and see you in my 3rd episode. Bye!